Hello, it's day number 340 of 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service, and we have a crowd favorite with us today, and one of my all time truly favorite people in the world. I told him many times that I was going to adopt him, but I think I have to stand in a long line for that. Uh, we have Christopher D. Casson with us today. He is, of course, as many of you know, he is one of the top 5 next global impactors. He has autism to artism. I got it right this time. And he also has a podcast that is, he just wrapped up the first season. I'm so proud of him. Through Autistic Eyes. So I want to say welcome to Service Heroes today, Christopher.
Yeah, thanks. Second time now.
I know. Yes. Well, you're a crowd favorite, truly, but we know that. Anywhere you go, everybody is like totally in love with Christopher. Okay, and in fact, we have some people showing up right now.
Hey
We've got
there.
Carol Brown. Good to see you. And she is reminding us of an ever so important website that we will be talking about today. And we have Barbara Beckley.
Hey
We
there.
know these people because they are also volunteers and in the leadership group of which you volunteered to work with me in Chemo Buddies for Life. So I want to say thank you for that.
No problem.
So let's talk. Okay, let's catch up to who you are and what you're doing, and so many exciting things going on. I mean, just incredible things that are happening. And poor guy, yeah, it's cold where you are, right? You're in the Chicagoland area, and you were saying, "Oh yeah, it's a balmy what?" And you just went running in it. How how
Yeah.
how warm is
It,
it there in the Chicagoland
well,
area?
before it was below 10 degrees due that Arctic blast, but now it's mid 30s, so it's fine to run. But I don't know. I hope I'm not catching something because I still have that trip in a little over a week.
Yes, we cannot. So free from that. No, this is just, like a temporary, it's just because
Yeah.
of the show. There you go. Once the show's over, then, there won't be anyone to
Yeah.
cough or anything. So, okay. So you have a cause, you have a movement, and I am so proud of you. And I will never forget, I am one of so many throughout the world that watched your video when you first entered the first season of The Next Impactor. And I immediately was just drawn in. I can't even say enough things, but you and I have shared, I have family that we all deal with stuff. I mean, that's the way it is in life. No one is free of getting through this life without dealing with something. And it's how you handle it. And I just appreciate the fact that you are just out there because there's a need. Why don't we talk about that? What is it that your cause is?
Well, it's to bring more awareness to what autistic adults like myself face, which is a high unemployment rate, because we struggle with the communication aspect, as we all know. So going through interviews with the typical way that doesn't always work, and even when we do get the jobs, even if it's a part time, it could be a struggle keeping it just because of autistic traits, and not everyone is as understanding. So, and I've done with that, trying to go through a few interviews, but didn't go anywhere. The most I got was like an internship, and that was because it was a friend of mine from college, and he decided to do the interview process differently than just a checklist that actually tested my skills instead of just random talk. And eventually, I just got to the point where I decided, you know what, I'm going the entrepreneur route. I'm just creating my own job, and it's been just a long journey of a lot of hard lessons to learn and all the other stuff, but it's necessary. And now, thanks to Next Impact and meeting so many people and taking up the 12-week program with Anton J to learn about the business structure and all that. Well, can only keep going forward. Keep
That's
going.
right. So you found, now, did you have this talent beforehand, or is this something that you realized that you had once you started thinking about the entrepreneurial journal or journey, that you are a photographer and you are also into art? What came first, the entrepreneurship or the art, the chicken or the egg?
Well, I've been drawing as long as I can remember, so I guess in a way you could say art. But I remember as a kid, I always loved Jeopardy, so sometimes I like playing with the family, like I have my own Jeopardy board on the side. My father would probably tell you guys a ton about that. And also, making up a game like saying owning a restaurant and whatnot. And also, I always, despite the artistic traits, we had the neighborhood yard sales that I always seem to enjoy seeing. So it's kind of a little bit of both, but I kind of focused more on the art and drawing, but I don't know, maybe there was just always the seed there that just wasn't really nurtured well enough. So I kept thinking I was stuck with like the 9 to 5 or the part time and whatnot, and just basically a mediocre life, which was part of the reason I got depressed, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, again, you and I were talking before we went live, and I understand that when you have adult children or the next generation that have that are somewhere in that spectrum that are just a little different, but many times much more skilled, much more talented, much more intelligent, many more attributes that the working world needs, but they may not understand that, or they may not be willing to look at it through autistic eyes,
Yeah,
through another, if you will, shade of lenses.
yeah,
And if I go back in history because of having family members, and I am a history buff for many reasons, and I like to learn lessons because it's like, okay, why do I need to recreate that same thing? Why not learn the lesson from someone else that maybe went through it so I don't have to necessarily learn that particular lesson?
yeah,
And when I started checking into some of the greatest brains that we have, Einstein, Lincoln, many of them, if we had social media now, if we had the internet, if we had 24-hour television and news, you kind of wonder if they would have gotten the same break that they ended up with because of the time that they came. And they were seen for their intellect, they were seen for what they were able to share. And I love your message because what you're doing is you're out there sharing, and you came up with autism to artism. Let's
yeah.
talk about that.
It was actually a few months before the next impact. Actually, that came up. I was talking to Jeff Levin, who was one of the co-producers of the next impact, and I was still in those stages of okay. Started the photography business, to become more independent, and I figured why not pass this knowledge forward in some way. So it's it's been a long road. Let's just say that. Just
Mm-hmm.
learning everything, and then he just came and he noticed I was trying to come up with like I guess you could say mission statement or whatnot. So he just went, okay, why don't you just say go transform autism to artism, and it's just like a kind of a click, like the missing puzzle piece kind of thing there. So throughout, I've just been running with it, see how it evolves and how it continues to evolve even now. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just, and just to show that, you know, the only thing limiting me is myself at this point.
Well, I know that when you know going through the next impactor and being picked into the team situation, and you I remember going through, okay, who am I going to be picked? Number one. And then whose team will I be on? And the only person of all the coaches that I even knew anything of was your coach, who you ended up with, and Jason Cisneros. And
Yeah.
I ended up with Todd Special. And
I knew
so,
no one, so
pardon?
I knew no one, so I have no idea. But I just kind of had a feeling that it was either going to be Todd or Jason. So I, in my head, I thought, okay, maybe Todd, but just I had the gut feeling like something about the other guy here, and
The other guy.
and then I ended up with
That's funny. The other guy. Oh, yeah. I can just hear him now, like in one of
oh,
our
geez,
meetings. Like, oh, the other guy, huh?
well, I was just thinking of those two guys. I was like, okay, that's Todd, that's Jason, okay,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
but you know, I'm glad to be on this team. So
yes. Me too. Now, I'm on his team now.
yeah.
So when you're on the team, you're picked in the top 10
Mhm.
or the top 50, but 10 on your team, and it's time to pick a nonprofit to support, and that's how the gamify is. Like, okay, now game on. All right, your nonprofit, was you actually, I'm sure it was similar to what we did. We all had to present a nonprofit, make a case for it, and then we boiled it down and then we voted. So when you presented your nonprofit, what was your reasoning behind it? Talk about who it is, the
Yeah.
reasoning behind it, and how was it received?
Well, actually, it took a bit of search on my end because I wasn't sure at first. So I was looking through a bunch of them, and a lot of them seem to be, well, like a general or more focused on kids with autism, which is important, but support for those on the adult side are very, very, very lacking. So I
Right.
just suddenly found one called Madison House Autism Foundation who uh, gives support to those autistic adults and their families so that they could be as independent as possible, and then parents don't have to worry about what's going to happen to their kids when they pass on. So they'll have a place to stay or be able to have that job and whatnot. So, and
And
I
go ahead.
And I presented it to the team and just told my own backstory because the reason I support it is because what they're trying to solve is something I have to deal with every day for the rest of my life, and that just seemed to really click with them. So it was almost unanimous.
That's awesome. And so Madison House is it local to Chicago?
No, it's based in Maryland, actually.
Maryland. Okay. I love the model that they have. It's a great model. And many of us with with the Next Impactor, when we started supporting these nonprofits, many of us ended up staying and still remaining, in one way or another, supporting of these nonprofits because we fell in love with them. And you're still involved with supporting it, aren't you?
On the way, yeah, because I have an online shop, so 10% of all the proceeds from that I plan on donating to Madison House annually.
I love it. I love it.
so
and
they can
and
get the proper funds.
right, and that's a great example. Multiple ways you think about this, and then we were talking about this too, is that being a role example, a role model for those people that are adults that are somewhere in the spectrum, and they're thinking, okay, I want a life. I want a life. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I know that I can have a life. And then you're out there and you're entrepreneurial. You have, we were talking about this, I think,
Yep.
yesterday or today or one of the times. You have your calendar, and you're going to be going and taking pictures, I'm sure, for the next calendar.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and there will be those that are going to say, "Wow, I want to be just like Christopher." And then the fact that you're giving back, that again is such a responsible example of the very best that anybody can attempt to be. And that's what you're doing. You are becoming, and you are your better self. And we all have days, don't we? I mean, nothing in life
Yeah.
is perfect, right?
Nope, it isn't because ending up in like the top five. That's like a lot on my shoulders, especially when I don't know. It just felt like everyone else was far ahead, while I'm still the little duckling, so to speak. That's dipping into here. So it's just it's a it's a lot, and it can be really heavy at times, and gets to me. But still keep pushing forward because
Mm-hmm.
it's still the overall message of just trying to be successful and show others how to do it, show that we do have value and not to just throw us by the wayside just because we can't exactly go by the typical checklist.
I don't go by any checklist, but everybody knows that. So
Yeah,
you and I are on that same page, because to be entrepreneurial, in truth, I mean, be on outcome driven, of course, and our coach, the Bald Avenger,
yep,
is definitely teaching us about outcomes and massive amounts of them, and something that's obtainable and trackable and all of that neat stuff.
yeah. Track your outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
Always think of it that way. So,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. However, just like our illustrious coach, he does things his way. And, hey, if he's going to have an entertainer, why not become one? And cool things like that. And that's what I love about this group too. And so many of the people that came to the Next Impactor, many of them now have volunteered with the movement, and we're all working towards a big outcome, a massive outcome that's coming up on Giving Tuesday. And I love the fact that we all come from different spaces. We all come from different places. We all come with different energy levels. We all come from at different places in it. We can be ducklings. We can be, the older than dirt farts. Excuse my language, but and anywhere in between. However, the thing that I see is we have a lot of people that have a heart and a drive to make the world a better place. And that's exactly where you are coming from, right?
yeah. Yeah, a lot of these past months, it's just me going over everything, going over the new ideas, and just figuring out that timeline and making sure I don't rush myself through it. Because again, the little duckling, so taking those little steps, and so with that program, first getting into the photography part, and then while I get that going, start applying those lessons towards all the other stuff, including autism, and how I want to keep moving forward with that.
Which, let's talk about that. But before that, I want to talk about the world thing, because
Yeah.
you have a huge adventure ahead of you, huh? In just a few
Mhm.
days. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's going to be on the 26th, where an old friend of mine from way back from second grade, he decided he's getting a little tired of staying around the Chicago land area for so long, so he's decided to, take a nice trip to Cambodia and Thailand, and he's taking me along with him. So, and I thought for a while that it was going to take me a long time to do that, but he pulled that surprise on me. So,
Right, right. And Lauren Harris, one of the other founders of the Next Impactor, you were on his show and he asked you a question in regards to your trip. And you were just telling me you were doing some research. Why don't you share with that?
yeah, he was wondering about different autism groups, possibly in Cambodia, and there actually is one. And they take in kids to be able to help teach them and try to spread awareness, especially since um, the misunderstanding with autism is just as prevalent in Cambodia as it is in the United States and anywhere else. It's worldwide, really.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just parents dumping their autistic kids at school just to you know get them out of their hair and whatnot, and not truly understanding. And then they go into teens and they don't have the necessary skills to really take care of themselves. So it's just that it's not just the United States; it's everywhere. So
Right. And that was a good question that was asked of you, huh?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because when you think about even the whole program of the Next Impactor and the global piece of it, in fact, the renaming of it, I still trip up on that, global, because it's true. That's what this was all about, was it's going global. And that was one of the things that really attracted me, because that's exactly what we're in the process of doing with the team that you're a part of.
mhm.
And the fact that you get to go with a passport, you have your passport now. I
Yeah.
still need to get mine, but okay, so you have your passport and
Mhm.
you are going across the world, and you are going to get to experience firsthand what some people would only be looking at on Google or the books or something. And maybe what this will do is open up your mission, possibly, right?
Who knows? The group is based in the capital city, Phnom Penh, but it's only going to be like going into the city and then immediately taking the bus towards what was the city name? We're traveling to Angkor Wat for 10 days, so it's
Uh,
a it's one of the great wonders of the world. One giant complex of Hindu temple that used to be an ancient city, but then later on was converted into a Buddhist temple later down the line. And then eventually it was abandoned in jungle overgrowth, and then eventually it was discovered by explorers. So
how cool! Feels like Indiana Jones or something,
yeah,
right?
kind of, yeah.
That just sounds like fun. So,
Yeah, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting tons of pictures and maybe apply them to the 2020 calendar. I don't know. But then also after that is going to be northern Thailand, which it's, Chiang Mai is the main city around there. So just visit all the parks, an elephant sanctuary that doesn't abuse elephants, by the
oh,
way.
good, yeah, good.
So and then New Year's in Bangkok, and then be right back here.
So you're going to be gone for 30 something days, right? Right around 30 days?
Yeah, a little bit over a month, and just going to be not only taking photos, but just recording it, video to make vlog videos, and I still need to catch up with those other ones from last New Year's. I took a trip to the Carolinas,
Uh-oh.
so yeah, and autistic traveling around. What are the odds?
You know what? That's what I want to be pointing out too. Because here you're going, and you're going with your friend,
Mhm.
and you're doing the research and everything. And it was really
Yeah.
interesting too when Lauren was asking you questions, and I'm listening to the. Like, okay, I want to know that too. Like, okay, so are you having guides, or all those questions that he was asking, and you had very good answers because you have been doing your research, right?
Yeah, just not the specific trivia questions, so to speak. So.
Oh, it is Lauren
But
Harris.
yeah, yeah, it kind of slipped my mind with the language part because I believe it's Khmer, like part of the Khmer Empire. That's where the Angkor Wat thing is part of the Khmer Empire. So,
Okay.
but I believe there was also like a French colony there. So that the older generation that did survive the what happened in the 1970s do speak a little bit of French, and I believe there might be some television programs over there that do have some French in them as well. So.
Do you speak French?
No, unfortunately. So.
But I liked your answer. Well, there's the Google app.
Yeah,
There's a
there's
Google
always Google Translation.
translation. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was good.
you can just press the mic and just have him speak into it, and then it just translates to English. But it's
Right.
not 100% correct though. So.
Well, it's close enough. I mean, it's a lot better than. I mean, with me, it would be like signing. I would be doing hand gestures because I talk with my hands anyway. All right, so let's talk about this, and then because you came on as a volunteer shortly thereafter, the whole competition thing was over in August, and you were immediately all in with healing through art. And because you really are into the art. I don't want to say thing, but you're in. That's a big part because of autism to artism, and these are some of your creations, correct?
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I guess you could say I have an easier time speaking to drawing and art, so to speak, than actual talking. Although I guess I'm kind of challenging that with the whole live stream, soon to be podcast. Anyway, I still need to get the audio out of that. But
Oh,
baby steps.
yes, but can I just say how impressed I was by your video to start the whole thing yesterday? I was like, whoa, that's cool. Did you do that?
Actually, it was someone else from Team Jason, Brian Sly. He does video creation, and he actually did all the put together the videos for the challenges during the competition. He was our main video guy, so he
Uh,
definitely worked his butt off. That's for certain. So he earned it.
wow, I loved it. I loved it. He did an excellent job. I need to talk to him.
Yeah,
Um,
awesome.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and that's the thing too, is that there's so many creative, wonderful, giving, uh, totally amazing people that we know. I I I am so impressed by your use of color and your use of images and everything. Obviously, it's very, I think of an onion. It's very multi-layered, isn't it? I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot going on in these. Why don't you explain a little bit?
Well, actually, in more recent years, when I started with the business aspect, I realized that I'm gonna have to, fix that mindset, so to speak. So I've just been looking up, start off with Alan Watts, and then just going into Eastern philosophy and religion. So this is kind of like a offset of those, such as the, excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
such as one of them, you can easily see the yin yang. That's part of Taoism, which is in parts of China, and then the little ones with the little symbols, the chakras, which you typically you see them a lot in spirituality, but I believe the origin is more in the Hinduism, so to speak.
Okay.
And
Um, let's see here. And then let's see. There is another one. Oh, another kind of feel.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Originally, I started off with thinking of Jainism, actually, which is some people like to believe of Buddhism and Jainism kind of being off branches to Hinduism in some
Oh,
aspects. So for this one, it's a bit more on the how should I put this? They're really into not accidentally killing anything because of karma kind of thing. So sometimes you
oh,
see them with
right.
those masks on and then brushing in front of them so they don't accidentally step on a bug or whatnot. But if I
Mm-hmm.
remember correctly, but that one was, and that's the hand is actually part of the symbol of Jainism. It's that hand like this and with the little round symbol there. And then sometimes they have the controversial, I get in the Western world of the swastika, which we usually associate with Nazis, but actually it's more of an angle and reverse version of the swastika in Eastern religion philosophies, which means the exact opposite, actually.
Okay.
So sometimes you see some Buddhists or some priests having the symbol on their hand, palm of their hand, actually.
Interesting. See, this is so fascinating. This is going to be such a good trip for you because this is right up your artistic, creative side. Plus, I know you well enough. I know the kind of things you like to read and the way you like to think and everything. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, couldn't have been a better gift for anybody because this is somewhere that you just need to go. You need to see this. You need to be able to experience this. And the fact
Yeah,
that you get to is like, whoa, it's like dreams do come true.
yeah, definitely. And to go off that, for Thailand, Cambodia, they mostly practice Buddhism, but it's a certain one called, if I pronounce it right, Theravada, I believe. And yeah, there's mainly two of the three main schools. So, like, say, Vietnam, China, Korea, and Japan, it's more of Mahayana Buddhism. And an off branch of Mahayana is Zen Buddhism in Japan. So, and
Okay.
the other one is if I pronounce it right, Vajrayana Buddhism, and you usually associate Tibetan Buddhism with that one.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. How interesting.
Yeah, I'm still
I,
learning more about it every day. I'm still technically a beginner, so to speak, but it's always fascinating learning something that's dramatically different than you usually typically see in the West.
you know what? With you saying that, it makes me think of, again, having the family members that I do. The thing about them, and I'm asking this as, is it the same with you? Because I have a feeling it probably is a lot of, and I want people to understand that you, when you want to learn something, you dive in, right? You just start studying and you want to figure it all out and get the facts and just keep learning, correct?
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. So once I just get into the subject, it's like I get so lost in it, so to speak. And before I knew it, it's hours later, and well, I suddenly start recognizing that I'm hungry. So
The body takes over. That's good. Oh, that's good. Well, and that's another reason I want to bring this up though, because of your autism, the artism, and the awareness of adults that fall somewhere on the spectrum.
yeah,
As a recruiter and talking with companies, I could all day long, I could explain in certain positions how this is a no brainer. We need to just make sure that companies understand that to find employees and people that actually want to learn and actually want to know and actually are willing to, on their own free time, dive into subject matter that interests them. It needs to be interesting
yeah,
to them. Usually, though, what I have found is if someone is doing something for work and they've got an aptitude for it, usually someone in the spectrum, they're interested in it, because if not, they're going to be somewhere else. It's going to be, okay, on to the next thing. I'm on to the next one now. Okay, I'm done with that. But if it's interesting, they're all in, and you can't get better than that. I mean, why wouldn't you want someone that on their off time they're going to go study more, rather than going and getting drunk and partying all night long and being to work late?
Well, there's also the other autistic traits as well that can kind of interfere with that, such as sensory overload, sometimes meltdowns, and some people just don't want to deal with that. And and that's kind of unfortunate, but we are seeing the more bigger corporations hiring more autistics, such as Microsoft. So, and also I remember when I was reading up in the Cambodia one, there's, I believe, some sort of program in Japan where they start hiring autistics to do like the more repetitive tasks, like assembling the line or something, because for some possibly even more on the severe end, maybe they're more into repetitive tasks that don't get interrupted, so they're comfortable being there. So.
Right. They're just, okay, head down. A lot of times not very social. Don't talk to me. Let me do my thing and get it done.
And break every once in a while if there's like lights or whatever kind of noise around there.
Right. So I love the fact that you're taking this subject matter and putting a broad light over it, and giving it the attention that it needs. I thank you for that. I do. And yes, don't overdo, we're all separate. We're all different, and we're all at different steps, baby steps, big steps, little steps. I love that movie, Baby Steps, Baby Steps. What about Bob? He's a little fish that he carries around in his little, glass jar hanging around his neck. What about Bob? Baby steps, baby steps. It's like, okay, I do that. Baby steps.
And that's the thing to keep in mind, because everyone's like wanting the want now kind of thing, but everything is a process, and sometimes I forget that because I get lost in it, but then I'm just moving myself back in that place of, okay, start with this step and complete that 12-week program, start applying it with the photography, and then just keep moving on and getting the next one up further down the assembly line. So,
well, you are doing it, and you've been doing that also in helping with Chemo Buddies for Life. And I have to say, you have been spectacular on our Wednesday night leadership meetings, because when our illustrious coach, the Bald Avenger, also known as Jason Cisneros, is not able, when he, that guy, when that guy is not able to be there, because you were the resident that was on his team, when you were going through the Next Impactor and he would have your team meetings, he ran them in this style. And so you were able to say, okay, almost like, not right. Yes, that's good. Let's go. Yes, right. It's like, okay. And it's almost like, okay, Christopher, like, okay, Christopher, now? No? Yeah. and you've been very helpful with that. Extremely helpful. And I know that everybody has truly appreciated it. I mean, I think I finally graduated. I think, what did Jason say when he goes, okay, Tamara, the 8th time? Do we need a 9th time? Yeah, well, but I got it now, but because it's a different style, yet it makes so much sense. And you do accomplish a tremendous amount of activity when you have a lot of people together.
And then a shorter period of time, instead of going like go over 2 hours or more, because we just keep either go off topic with the talking, or we end up with someone ends up with one person just talks and talks and talks while everyone else is going.
So, and I was so proud of our team this last week. We were right at 90 minutes.
Yeah, that's the time that we was set on. So 90
Yep,
minutes for these meetings.
yep, yep, and we did it. So, and we have you working on healing through art.
Yep.
And you are doing something that I just cannot wait to see. And I know that we're not going to talk too much about it because it's going to be fun. However, since you're going to be on your world travels on December 2nd and 3rd, Giving Tuesday, the 36 hours of streaming live that we're doing to fundraise for Chemo Buddies for Life. Chemo Buddies for Life is the nonprofit, of course, that I'm the co-founder of, executive director, and was the platform that I basically ran on for the next Impactor, and made a commitment that this was what I wanted to build out with the help of the amazing coaches that we won. And we have a lot of people that have come and are helping to make this happen, because it is a 501c3 and it is affecting those people and helping those people that have been affected by cancer. And so you have been preparing something cool for your segment, Healing Through Art, right?
Yeah, but since I'm not going to be here, making a pre-recorded video for it. Me and a local artist friend of mine, we teamed up to do basically do art healing, so to speak. Talk about the information about that, art therapy, and how art has helped us, and also how it can help others, and with whatever as a way of de-stressing, so to speak. And and there's all kinds of big benefits, of it. So that's
Oh,
basically what the video is going to be about. I just for my segment, it's a probably going to be much shorter than his because I just wanted to do a chalk outline because I'm more in the drawing than painting because I drew a ton as a kid. But and then he takes over, it starts his painting, and and occasionally I've been asking him questions throughout and interject, and we just play off of each other, and then with the finished painting product, we're actually giving it the Chemo Bites for Life as part of the donation, the drawing. So that's in the mail right now. I just sent it earlier today. So
well, thank you. So, yes, and so we'll use it in some way to then help with the donations and the fundraising, of which our massive, important outcome is the number $50,000. And we know we can do it. 36 hours, entertainment, education, inspiration, healing through art, healing through music, healing through nature, healing through so many different disciplines. We have an incredible lineup, and we're just finishing up right now, plugging in everybody where they're going to go so that we can roll it out so that all of you can see, okay, yeah, I'm going to set my clock for this and that, and it's all going to run off at the Pacific time because that's where I'm at. And it's I am getting excited, like a little girl excited, like I can't even believe it. Like, pinch me, I'm so excited, like I know. Because I mean, in truth, when you were just so generous, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm in, whatever, healing through art, I'm in. However, when you saw how big, I'm like, well, Jason, my first call with him, he's like, okay, let's get this figured out. Now let's look at 2020. And I'm like, sorry. We got to look at 2019, and we got to look for a few months because there's something big. It's a second annual, and there's no way I'm not doing this because we're going to own this day. This year we're doing it. It's going to be amazing. Next year, just watch out, guys.
yeah.
And when you saw that in the beginning, what was your thought? I mean, did you think, oh, Tamara's really lost it this time? Uh-oh, just a minute. Let me bring him back up. Just a minute. Just a second. Let me bring you back up. I hit the wrong one. Okay. So sorry. Okay, so. Okay, have some fun. All right, so when you were getting that, when everybody was getting the vision, and in the beginning, everybody was like, okay, I think I get it. I'm not 100% sure, but now everybody pretty much has the vision.
Pretty much by now, yeah.
Yeah, because we've been put a tremendous amount of time with all of our manpower hours. I mean, it's been a tremendous amount of dedication, which I can't even say thank you enough to all of our teammates. What was your thought in the very beginning? Did it surprise you? What was your? I would love to hear.
I guess I basically had the same attitude as when the next impact, just be open to whatever comes, because I don't know, but
that works, and you know, and that really works, because, and that I believe is pretty much what everybody has done, and now what I'm hearing and what I'm noticing and what I'm observing is that it is now becoming a part of their what?
Hold on, battery running low.
Okay, well, we'll talk.
There we go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Got it. Okay.
Just need to plug it in.
No worries. So now it's becoming a part of the fabric of some of our friends. It seems like, you know, like we've got Christy here. Christy, she's congratulating you on your next adventure. Christy is one of the people that has helped us with our website. That we have a website, which I'm so excited about. It's like, whoa. We've got Spencer Rose here from your neck of the woods. Barbara Beckley. Barbara is now doing shows about chemo buddies and inviting all these new wonderful people, and it's like, this is what a movement's all about. You start, and then it starts to go out there, and we're witnessing it, aren't we? We're witnessing
and just more and more people coming in as time went on. So
exactly, and more and more, I mean, every day, and I have to say thank you to all of you that are. Every day I have more people coming to me and saying, some of them, yes, thank you, yeah, some of them were with us last year and they're coming back and saying, hey, what can I do? Some have been catching some of these shows and saying, wow, I'm really interested, can you tell me more? Okay, yes, I'm there. And what's really great is that cb4l.org, they have outlined it, and Renee's helping with, Rayanne is helping with the language right now in explaining in simple ways what it is that we're doing and how others can help. And, you know, should you want to donate, because this is a fundraiser and we would love the donations, because we've got a massive important outcome of $50,000. That is the goal. However, if you feel it in your heart to volunteer, we have all sorts of needs. I mean, because when you look at the different people that are involved, you've got people that are the techie type, and then you've got the ones that I did this image because of talking this morning about some of them, you know, and then we've got the ones that are out there front and center, you know, and you got everybody in between, right? We got all types.
Yeah, we got quite a wide arrangement, that's for certain. So.
And there's a need. I mean, there's a place for everybody to go, because I believe in teams. That's the way I like to work. And we have plenty of teams that are off and doing their little autonomous things. And then they come together and the leadership kind of checks in, and then we go out, and then it's like scurry little, you know, busy beavers, and it's working.
Yeah, it's coming together.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And I just want to say that one of the things that is the most important for us is that we are, without a doubt, going global.
Yeah.
And
One of the big points, actually. So,
yeah, yeah. And the thing too about it is that we know the vehicle that we're going global with, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's simple, really. You have a web
Right?
browser on it, so
Right. So for right now, we have our first website up. That's our informational website. It's exciting. And then we've been nicknaming it, and I gotta, I think, give it a different nickname, but I've been calling it lately the
you mean
beach.
like a code name?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
beta site. That it's our community, and Tony has taken the lead on that, and he was working covertly for months while I was running for the next impactor, and our thought was that the goal was all along to win, to bring in the resources and the coaching to then be able to have the base, the beta site, and then be able to push it out to the world. And it's working. That process is in place. And how do you feel being a part of something like this?
It's like everything coming at once in me in the head, so
That's
it's just
okay.
yeah.
No worries.
Some things just can't be expressed in words, so really, so it's just
It's okay.
yeah.
I feel
But
it.
yeah, but that's also kind of the thing. It's good to have language, but language is can be very limited in terms of fully expressing itself. Hence, art. So
Right, right. Exactly, exactly. And then I'll explain it for the way I feel right now.
yeah,
And
because
that, go ahead.
it's it's just been an awesome time. I
It
just
has been. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I certainly can't wait to finish the video and get the final results. Since there's still a bunch of stuff left to get for it, but
I'm excited.
I'm just one of those creatives. I just love creating stuff. So this is another opportunity to really help out in a creative way. So
Right, right. And you have people that are so inspired by you within the community. They know who you are. And the fact that you came on board with us meant so much to them because you already were making an impact being a part of the next impactor first season. And then all of a sudden when they started seeing who was joining us, because they knew what the mission was, they knew what my message was, and they knew what the goal was, they knew that all along. They many of them helped make that happen. And so they knew, okay, we're gonna, no time like now, let's do this now. And then when you came and Misty came, and so many of our friends came, Noelle, Andrea, we've got so many amazing people that came, and then some of the service heroes and the Misfit Nation, and all of these different groups coming together. What it says to them, that person that is in the midst of fighting for their life, is that their life is important.
yeah,
That's what
as
it's saying.
you know, because they're usually in a dark place thinking they're all alone. But then when they see that all these people are coming, it just feels like, that they're not alone after all.
Right,
And there's
right.
people looking out for them, even though it might not be the typical direct way.
We don't do anything typical here.
No, we don't.
No. But you know what? However, there are not many people that leave home without it, you know.
No. Well, either this or like tablets or
Right, computers.
what else? What else comes next? Like those foldable phones now, and also you know, uh, speaker speakers like Alexa and
Oh, right, yeah, wired homes and everything.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and smart cars and smart TVs and smart. And what we are doing, in truth, is so simple. I don't know why anybody else didn't do it, but we are. We are doing it.
well,
That's why
someone might as well do it first.
exactly, and that's exactly what we're doing. And and that's why it was kind of cool to win that title first next impact, or first global next impact, or whatever it is. That first hasn't changed either way. That will remain the same. And what the first is that we are the first to say we're kicking the power of cancer to the curb. We are creating a community that is a home. I love it. See, we have fun, guys. We have fun. And we're doing it where it makes sense, and we can take it to anywhere that someone in the night is feeling alone and afraid, scared, and not knowing where to turn. And when they can find us, and then they can say, wow, I found my people, I found a home. And then when they have the translators on there, and so there's no problem with the language, and when they can relate with the person that's on the other end, because they too have heard the same words. And it may be in a different language, it may be a different culture, it may be a completely different way of thinking, and yet we're human. And those three words, however you translate them, they still have had the same power. And now we're taking that power away. Yep. So, as we start to close, what pearls of wisdom would you like to leave us with before you go on your world travels, my dear?
Let's see. Beep, 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 beep.
I love this guy.
I don't know. For me, for this whole trip, good things just seem to come in the most unexpected ways and the most unexpected times. Because, you can always plan as much as we want, but sometimes the best things come in like the little surprises.
That's good. That's great. That is true. And that is a great pearl, a pearl of wisdom coming from Christopher D. Casson. So, as we close day number 340 of 365 days of awesome, celebrate success through service. Christopher D. Casson, the fourth next great global impactor with autism to artism. You are impacting the world one baby step at a time. It is in the perfect timing for you. You are in the perfect place. You are someone that I know for myself and for my family members that I feel blessed because of you. Knowing you, being inspired by you, and absolutely just adoring you. So thank you for being a part of my life, Chemo Buddies for Life, or Chemo Buddies, for Life's program, and Healing Through Art. Safe travels.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me on here again.
My pleasure, absolutely. Anytime. Bye.
Yeah, take care.